So this was a little bit surprising. Meta Quest 3 was just announced, $499, double the processing power of the Quest 2, 40% slimmer than the Quest 2, higher resolution display, new haptic feedback controllers, and a color pass-through for augmented reality. Oh, and it's coming this fall, so we can expect it this year. Now, you may have noticed on my channel that I'm not a VR content creator. I don't exclusively do VR content like a lot of other people because I'm more of a VR casual, I guess. I don't really consider VR this godlike medium of entertainment, but I also don't write it off either. I really do enjoy it when I use it. I've recently been playing Ghost of Tabor recently, which I think is a fantastic game in VR, and I like to kind of show people that you can just kind of casually incorporate VR into your normal lifestyle and just enjoy it like you would any other form of entertainment. And I think the easiest way to enjoy VR comes down to its accessibility, and anything to make that accessibility experience easier is interesting to me, because I did have the original Quest when it came out, the Quest version 1, and man, that thing was very interesting when it first came out, but it was kind of rough. It was extremely top heavy, it was significantly underpowered compared to its PC counterpart. You really didn't have a lot of options on it for gaming experiences. The tracking experience was great, but just it could not handle the gaming experience that you would expect from VR. Then the Quest 2 came out, and that's where things got interesting because it was significantly more powerful, and while the graphics didn't rival PC, if you put them side by side, you could definitely see a downgrade there, but you could actually have those full PC experiences on the Quest with no strings attached. You could use the Quest 2 on the PC, you could use it standalone, it was super easy to just pick up and play, anybody could buy it out the store. This is where VR became extremely accessible. If you don't have a Quest 2 yourself, you probably know somebody that has one. That's just how commonplace they were. And then they raised the price on them. But for me, it was just still a little bit underpowered and a little bit top heavy in the front. I use a Rift S that I extremely overpaid for during COVID from a third-party seller on eBay, which I'm extremely embarrassed about, but there's one big thing that I love about my Rift S, and that's that the technology for the processing and everything goes to my PC. You don't have a bunch of electronics in the front weighing this thing down, right? It's extremely comfortable to me, and it's a lot more comfortable to me than a Quest. I can play this thing for hours on end. I also don't have to worry about the battery life degrading. It's great. So the Quest 2 wasn't really for me, but seeing this Quest 3, it kind of has me interested. For one, it's $499, and that price point is pretty good, all things considered. What's the Quest being sold for brand new? Like $400 right now? So yeah, the Quest 2 is $399 right now, which I feel like is kind of a tough value proposition if you're just kind of wanting to get into this casually. That's kind of a big ask for somebody who's kind of unsure about the medium, you know? I've noticed that on Facebook Marketplace, you can pick these things up all day for like $150 to $250, and I think that's a really reasonable price for it. If you were interested, I'd definitely check that out. So when you consider that this Quest 3 is coming out and it's significantly better than this in terms of what's on paper in theory, because we haven't actually used it yet, it's a very good value proposition considering it's twice as powerful, it's slimmer than the Quest 2, and it's only $100 more. And again, I don't want to sit here and just kind of write off $500 like that's not a big ask for somebody, but that is cheaper than PSVR 2 right now. And what exclusives does PSVR 2 have going for it? Can you use PSVR 2 on PC? What I'm just trying to get at here is if you're looking for a new way to get into VR and you maybe even want to use it with some PC stuff, or you want to sideload some content that's not locked down to the platform it's on, this could be a really interesting, tantalizing option, and it looks like it could be significantly more comfortable than the Quest 2. Of course, we're gonna have to wait till it comes out to actually see that, but I'm looking at the picture here, and you know, pictures can lie, but it does look like there's a significant upgrade going on here. I've been looking for a significant reason to upgrade my Rift S for a while now, and the only option that seemed kind of reasonable for me is the Index, which is $1,000. Yeah, the tech is better, the tracking is probably better, but I think the inside-out tracking that these do with the cameras is perfectly fine. The biggest thing that improves the VR experience for me right now is the comfort, and I feel like we're maxing out on the graphical capabilities right now. Right now, we're just waiting on the AAA experiences to come out. So if you get something that's more powerful and significantly more comfortable, you got me interested, because if it's twice as powerful as the Quest 2, which is already fairly powerful on its own in my opinion, you could be getting more of these PC-like experiences on your Quest if you don't have a PC. And with it being more slim, I'm hoping that translates to the comfort factor, because if it's not so top-heavy in the front, I'm I'm kind of sold on it, man. Most importantly though, it seems like Meta's actually focusing on the games this time around. They dropped a 16-minute showcase just showing off a bunch of new titles coming out, which is big because when they first dropped the Quest 2, they were really trying to go into this whole Facebook social experience thing with the metaverse, and I think they realized that most people are wanting to play games on this thing. That's what we're interacting with VR for. Of course, we'll have to wait till these games come out to see if they're actually, games that are gonna stand the test of time, or if they're gonna be like these just experiences that you play for a couple hours then drop. But there's some good stuff in here. We got Arizona Sunshine 2, which seems like it's taking a lot of inspiration from Dead Island 2. There's Bulletstorm coming to VR, which I thought Bulletstorm looked like a really cool game. I've never played it, but just going off of the aesthetics of the gameplay, it seems like a game that'll translate into VR very well. I'm glad to see that. I think Asgard's Wrath is a fairly popular RPG in VR. I never played it, but there's a sequel coming out to it now. Vampire the Masquerade is also now getting a VR experience, so if you're a fan of that series, this may be something to keep on your radar. I'm just hoping that it comes out again as like a full-fledged game and not just a experience, if you know what I mean. So overall, I don't know what it is about the Quest 3's announcement, but I just got a good feeling about it. I feel like they're putting their best foot forward and they're focusing on the gaming aspect of it, as well as just the overall accessibility of the platform, and I'm really hoping to see cool things from this. Please let me know what you guys think of this whole Quest 3 thing down in the comments, because again, I look at it from the standpoint of, I think VR's cool, but I understand it's not for everybody. I try to just kind of treat it as a medium like I would any other medium. I like playing video games, and sometimes those video games are just really fun in VR, and it works very well, and it's a really cool immersive experience that I want other people to enjoy. But I don't know, is this going to get you into VR if you've never touched it before? If you're not getting into VR, what is it? Is it a matter of accessibility? Is it a matter of price? I'm just genuinely curious. Let me know your thoughts. We'll go back to our regularly scheduled videos soon. I just kind of wanted to talk about this because it seemed pretty neat. I'm kind of hyped to see how this turns out. So yeah. Quest 3. Sony, you better start dropping some first-party exclusives for that damn headset.